Hey there, I just finished a pour and I'm going to do another swipe. So this is a 12 by 16 canvas and I wrote it on the back. That just helps me remember too after I've painted something what the size is if I can't eyeball it and figure it out. So I had just done a metallic swipe and I had seen a swipe that I thought was really beautiful. It inspired me. It was someone's painting on Facebook and it made me think, well, I would like to do a pour, or a swipe with those colors with a little bit of adjustment of what I like and see how it turns out. And it may look totally freaky. I'm not really sure. I've mixed up my colors and I've got one more to mix Floetrol with. So this color here is Liquitex Basics Orange. This one is Permanent Red, Master's Touch. This one is Prism Violet by Liquitex Basics. Dioxazine Purple is darker than this, so this has a little bit more brightness to it. And then this one here is, I mixed Creative Inspirations Payne's Gray, and Payne's Gray is kind of a turquoise, a dark turquoise blue. Even though it says Payne's Gray, it's not really like gray. I mixed the Payne's Gray with Artist Loft Brilliant Blue to get this. It's kind of a dark turquoisey blue. This one is a combination of the Creative Inspirations Sky Blue and Liquitex Basics Bright Aqua Green. So those two combined are to making that color. So that's the colors I used for this one. And then I've got white, Artist Loft White, which is here in my squeeze bottle. Had paint hands all over it, so it's got paint covered. And I'm going to do a swipe. And so all my colors are mixed 1-to-1 with Floetrol latex based. And I have not added that to this cup, so I'm going to do that right now. And it's a 1-to-1 ratio. I think I added some white in this as well to lighten it up. So it was the combination of these two colors and then some white. This is water in a red bottle here, but it's my water, and I've got about 80% water and 10 to 20% Floetrol. I'm going to swipe with this color. I know that's a little bit odd, but I wanted to see the contrast of this color swiped over these colors because I love turquoise and orange and red and purple together, so I thought with the combination of the colors this might be pretty interesting. And you want to get that consistency that's just right where your paint pours off your stick in a steady stream like honey. If your stick stands up in your paint, then your paint is too thick. If your paint pours off your stick like water where it's drippy, then it's too thin. So you have to learn to get that perfect consistency of cream to honey where it's kind of a steady stream. Like there's a steady stream, but my stick still stands up in the cup, so I'm going to add a little bit more water. And I'm almost to the brim here, so I'm getting to the point where I can't add any more. You always kind of want to give yourself some wiggle room with the adding water part. So if you've got 3-ounce cups, I've got them all to the brim. You really just need to put maybe an ounce or so of paint and an ounce or so of Floetrol, and that gives you room to stir without spilling it over your edges. I'm notorious for doing that. So I'm trying to do this carefully without spilling my blue. So this is kind of like a Pale Aqua. It goes more sky blue than it does green. But it's not true sky blue. So it does have a little bit of that aqua green cast to it. I think that's pretty good. So I'm not going to add anything to my swiping color And this is why I'm not using my paints in my bottles, because they all have silicone in them. So when I want big plump cells, I use OGX coconut milk anti-breakage serum. And you can't just use any coconut milk kind of product. This one is pretty particular. Dimethicone is like the second ingredient on it. And it takes very, very little of this to get nice large cells. So I don't do a full pump, it's way too much. I just barely squeeze and do a little drop in each color. And stir a few times just to get the coconut milk into the paint. Like this one has sat too long, so it's on the thicker side. But I don't want to stir it a ton because of the silicone being in it already. So I think these are all pretty good. The turquoise is going to be at the top, and that's when the light turquoise is going to be at the top. So this is the brilliant blue with the Payne's gray in it. This canvas is dry. I didn't put any paint on it ahead of time. And now I'm going to do the Prism Violet. Is that what it's called? Prism. Prism with an M at the end. Violet. I do want the paint to run over the edges. And you can always kind of squiggle your paint around to get it where you need it. And with swiping, you always have kind of too much paint anyway. So this is the Master's Touch Permanent Red. I think Master's Touch is a Hobby Lobby only color, brand. I don't know, I can't remember if I get it at Michael's or not. I have the worst memory. Now I'm going to do the orange. It's always good to make sure that if you see something, you try to get it out, especially with a swipe, because those cells are going to be to die for, hopefully, and you don't want to mess them up by pulling out a chunk of paint. So the rest of this, I had some green in this from me putting this bottle into paint. So this part is just white. I'm just going to smooth this around with my hand because I don't have to, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just want a little coverage. Alright, so here's my paper towel. If I do 2 sections, it's just wide enough for the canvas. So I think I'm going to do 3 sections and I'll have more than plenty. Again, this does not have any coconut milk in this color at all. And this cup is like really, really full. And I'm trying to make sure I've got plenty of it. All right. So I'm going to lay my paper down. I'm going to take a piece of paper towel, put a little bit on the edge here. See, I kind of wiped off part of it when it was dragging through, so very lightly just drag it. So I'm letting it sit for a few minutes. So I'm kind of curious why it stains so thick right here. So I'm going to turn it around. So there's definitely color under there. I wonder if I dare do this. I'll get me a clean paper towel and make sure it's all stretched out on the end. And I'm going to come back in. So I've got to find a way to get this to go into this part. So I'm wondering if I take the double paper towel. Okay, now I'm going to turn it around again. This sew didn't turn out anything like what the person, how theirs had looked, but I love the colors still. So I'm still pleased with it, and hopefully I don't screw it up. I'm going to try to start it right where I left off. Oh my goodness. So I kind of messed it up. So I just have to figure out what I need to do to make it all work together. This will be a what not to do video. How about that? What not to do. So I'm just taking my drips that are on the table, and I'm just trying to bring this aqua blue color back over. If you have a pattern that you like going on, you can, if you have a pattern going on that you like, you can take your skewer and drag the skewer over the edge, and that will kind of help bring out that pattern, take it down over the edge a little bit. So in a way I'm kind of just creating some of my own cells. See, I love that one here and that one here, and so this is what it is here. Trying to see if I could get some orange down into here a little bit, but it really doesn't look quite right. So then the other thing is I'm going to try to still get some of this aqua blue kind of mingled. To make it look like it was meant to be this way. So I'm just kind of intermittently, a little bit of the Payne spray with it. Just trying to get some cell shapes. So you kind of fake it. If it's not really happening, you kind of can fake your way a little bit just by halfway drawing in these shapes with your skewer. So I think that helped a little bit with that. Sometimes you just need to, you don't want to scrap a painting because there's some beautiful things going on, but you've got to sometimes help it along. So that's what I did, is I helped it along. So the only thing is down here where the white, I put the white paint, some of the cells didn't have any color, which I would have liked, so because I don't want it to look like it's down to the bare canvas, which is kind of the way it feels. So like here, I'm going to stick a little white back on top with maybe just a slight bit of the orange here too. But you want it to be the bright white, you don't want it to be a dirty white, which is what happened here, what I did with the paint. So yeah, there's a few spots that went down to the canvas. It didn't work either. So I put a little bit of light blue back. The other thing where I dripped across. Let's see if I can kind of do away with that line a little bit if I can. May not be able to. So here is my put together swipe. Let's see, here's the end with the most white on it. And all the way to this end. So I kind of like the contrast of the blue against the red and orange. I like the contrast of it. The paint is like super thick, so it'll take this one a while to dry. So with this paint here, I'm going to see if I can do a little dip without making it turn to mud. Put my finger in it there. So we'll see how that dries. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.